to the world of ICT. Get ready to dive deep into knowledge that empowers. Welcome to Let's Talk K.
I do that every single time. Every single time I do that. I don't know what my issue is with this thing. Let me go and take that over. There we go. Wednesday night, 6 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. That can only mean one thing. Live after hours with Chuck Bowser, RCDD. Your favorite RCDD. You know that's me. Don't even try to pretend like I'm not. Don't even try to pretend like I'm not your favorite RCD. Wired Up for Excellence in the house. What's happening, Wired for Excellence? Good to have you back, my friend. Tonight, we are talking acronyms. Acronyms. The thing that causes us a lot of headaches, right? Acronyms. So let me flip over to my show notes, because I have a whole bunch of things I want to talk about here. You know, our industry has its own language. Oh, hold on. Stop. What are you drinking? What are you drinking? Chuck's drinking water tonight. I got a bit of a sore throat going on, so I'm careful what I'm drinking. So I'm drinking water. Tell me in the chat box, what are you drinking? What are you drinking? And let's do the acronym challenge. Let's just pick one. ESS. ESS. What does that acronym mean? Let me know in the chat box if you know what that means. ESS. ESS. That's the acronym challenge for tonight. Let me see. Larry's in the house. Joe's in the house. Eddie's in the house. Right? ESS. What does that mean? I'll give you a few seconds. If nobody types it in, I'm just going to have to answer it myself, I guess. It stands for Electronic Safety and Security. Electronic Safety and Security. So let's talk about acronyms, okay? Let's talk about acronyms. Again, it's like a whole nother language. I remember my first exposure to acronyms. I was sitting in a business meeting with my boss 25 years ago, maybe even longer. And we were having a meeting with Bell South. No, Bell Atlantic, not Bell South, Bell Atlantic. And the guy was sitting there and he was talking, and I swear he wasn't speaking English. I could have swore he was talking Klingon. And I finally said to him, I was like, hey, what's that mean? He goes, oh, it's an acronym. And he goes, oh, that's an acronym. Oh, that's an acronym. So I was like, hey, is there a book? Is there a book of acronyms that defines all those? And he's like, well, yes, there is. Yes, there is. And I was like, can you send it to me? Right? And he did. He actually sent me the acronym book. And I thought it was pretty cool. I thought that was absolutely pretty cool, right? So let me ask you this. How confused were you when people start using acronyms in this industry? Tell me in the chat box. How confused were you when people start using acronyms in this business? Because I'm telling you, it's like a whole new language. It's a whole new language. But here's the thing that people don't think about. It's a barrier to entry. It's a barrier to entry. And what do I mean by that? I mean that it can make meetings seem intimidating, right? It creates insecurity when you're talking to your techs. That's why we're going to talk about old acronyms. We're talking about new acronyms. We're going to talk about acronyms that have multiple meanings. We're going to talk about some acronyms that have multiple acronyms that mean the same thing. We're talking about all acronyms tonight. All acronyms. And so what that does is it leads to miscommunications on job sites. A perfect example, MDF and IDF. Those are old acronyms, but you hear them all the time. You hear them all the time, people using them. In fact, I don't correct people. I don't correct them when I see that because it's just going to bring on an argument. So I don't correct the bad acronyms when people use them because it just causes problems. And you know what? I'm no longer about fighting with people. Either you want to know or you don't want to know. That's what it boils down to, okay? It just boils down to that. If you don't want to know, then okay, so be it. And it's your fault, not mine. But I'm what I call multilingual. Multilingual when it comes to acronyms. In fact, I had an email today at work. Somebody was asking a question about TJ's in the house. So I had a conversation today at work, and somebody was asking about some bonding and grounding stuff. And so they must have went on ChatGPT. So he went on ChatGPT and asked what this one particular item was. And it gave them a response, and technically it was correct. Technically it's correct. But half of the acronyms it used were old acronyms, not the new acronyms. That's what I mean by multilingual. I can talk old acronyms, I can talk new acronyms. And like I said, but it is a barrier to entry, because I want you to think about that the next time you're having a meeting with somebody and you're using acronyms. You know, whenever I'm teaching a class, whenever I'm talking to somebody, unless it's somebody like TJ, whenever I'm talking to somebody, if I think they don't know the acronym, I will use the whole name, and then I'll tell them, oh, by the way, that's called blah, blah, blah. I don't assume that everybody knows it. If you're writing a document, you're writing a scope of work, you're writing a request for proposal, the first time you mention that acronym, spell it out first, and then put in brackets the acronym. And then you can use the acronym after that, okay? Don't assume everybody knows acronyms. The acronyms are so important that's why every weekday on LinkedIn, I do the acronym challenge, because it's like learning a new language, and I don't want anybody to have a barrier to entry to get to this, because it's truly, truly not that hard. You just got to apply yourself. There's the rub right there. You got to apply yourself, right? So let's go ahead and let's flip back over here. One free resource for you. One free resource. Go to Google, type in ICT Terminology Handbook. ICT Terminology Handbook. I tell this to everybody, because it's a free resource that Bixby gives away. Bixby doesn't do many things free. They don't do many things free. This is a free resource. It's a PDF. It has all the acronyms, old and new, and even has definitions, okay? I don't remember how many definitions it has, but the acronyms start on like page 238 or something like that, right? But it's a free resource. Now, you will have to give Bixby your email address to get that PDF, but it's a great resource. And here's my challenge to you. Download it, and then send that web link to a peer. Send that web link to an installer. Send that web link to an apprentice, so they can download it and they can learn it. Okay, that's my challenge to you. Okay, make sure that you spread that information. It's not that hard. Once you download it, it's good to go. And the reason you want to do that is, again, it's about lifting up other people. It's called the ICT Terminology Handbook. Here, I'll go and type it in the chat box. ICT Terminology Handbook. It's a free resource on the Bixby webpage, okay? So why do we talk in acronyms? Because sometimes it's more efficient. There's one acronym, an older acronym out there. The acronym is TBB IBC. TBB IBC. It stands for Telecommunications Bonding Backbone Interconnecting Bonding Conductor. It's an old acronym. We don't use it anymore. We actually changed the name of that acronym twice since then. But it's a lot faster to type TBB IBC than to spell the whole entire thing out. Okay? That's one of the reasons. Another reason is for standardization. And that's one of the reasons why they changed all of the acronyms in the bonding section, right? The bonding and grounding section, because they want to synchronize that we use the same acronyms as they do in other standards, like the ISO standards, the ISO 11801. Make sure that we're using the same acronyms that we use in the TDMM or the ITSM manual, right? And I'm telling you, it's a hard thing to do. It's absolutely hard to figure out how to keep those things accurate. And those committee volunteers, they work their proverbial rear ends off trying to cross-check and make sure that everything matches correctly. There's a lot of issues. And it's great for documentation. It's great for documentation. But here's the warning, right? Efficiency can make a newcomer feel excluded, right? And that's how I felt the first time that someone used acronyms around me. I was trying to figure, what in the heck? You know, what's he talking about? Why do you have to talk in acronyms? Our industry just loves acronyms. Here's a poll question for you. Which acronym tripped you up the most when you got started in this industry? Tell me in the chat box. Which acronym tripped you up the most? Was it MDF? Was it IDF? Was it OSP? Was it POE? Was it something else? Which acronym tripped you up the most? Because it happens to everybody. You're not alone. You are not alone. So let's go through some acronyms. Oh, how's it doing that? Close that down. Oh, don't do that. There we go. So let's talk about confusing acronyms, right? So I got a list of acronyms, a list of them. I sat down today. Vinny says DMARC. Yeah. Well, technically that's not really an acronym. DMARC stands for demarcation point. Demarcation point is just a change of ownership. My cousin's in the house. Hey, cuz. So it's technically not an acronym, but there you go. Another one here. Oh, I can't read that one. I got to put my glasses on to read that one. TBB, telecom bonding backboard. No. See, you're wrong. TBB is not telecom bonding backboard. TBB is telecom bonding backbone. Backbone. That's the conductor that connects all the bus bars together. So that's why I'm here tonight. That's why I'm doing acronyms, to help people understand there's acronyms may be right or may be wrong, right? Let me flip over to the other Riverside, see if nobody's put any chat things in on the other channels. I'm not sure what is going on there. Nobody is chatting in there at all. It's just in TikTok. I don't know what's going on. I got 72 people in here now. Look at that. That's pretty cool. Hey, it's been a while. I didn't do a live stream last week, or actually I did. That's why I ran into some issues. Obviously, I'm back in the studio to figure out those internet issues up in the podcast team. But I appreciate everybody being here. But let's go through, right? Let's go through some of those acronyms that have multiple meanings, right? As a fire guy, I still don't know what MDF and IDF means. Feel free to enlighten me. Okay, perfect. MDF, that's an old acronym. They've changed that acronym a couple times. It stands for Main Distribution Frame. Main Distribution Frame. IDF is Independent Distribution Frame. An MDF is a building serving cross-connect field. So for example, if you got a building, then the customer owns the entire building, they got a telephone switch somewhere. That telephone switch is connected to the MDF, and that runs the signal up through the backbones, which goes to another cross-connect on the floor, the IDF, which is floor serving. By the way, they changed those acronyms. I'm going to talk about that a little bit later on. So Thomas says SBB, secondary bonding bus bar and primary bonding bus bar. Yeah, those ones changed as well too. So let's go through some acronyms, referring to my notes, some acronyms that have multiple meanings. Okay, AI has three meanings. Ouch! I just hit my hand. AI has three meanings. It can mean analog input. It can mean articulation index, or it can mean artificial intelligence. See, if you talk to three different people, you've talked to somebody like Ed, the old tech guy, you say AI, he is going to think artificial intelligence. But if you talk to, like an old Ma Bell guy and you say AI, that's analog input. That's what I'm saying. These are acronyms that have multiple meanings. AP, here's another one, good one, AP. Guess what it stands for? Access provider, right? That's Ma Bell. It can also stand for access point. Access point, yeah. There's another one, ATM. ATM. It can stand for asynchronous transmission mode or automatic teller machine. Automatic teller machine. Yeah, there you go. Yeah. Here's another good one, CM. CM. Now, CM can mean two different things. If you're talking to a construction person, CM is construction manager. Construction manager. If you talk to somebody who does work in bonding and grounding, or do they do work in computer issues, it could stand for common mode problems. That's the type of problem that shows up when you don't do your bonding and grounding correctly. Here's another one for you, CO. CO. That can mean central office to a Ma Bell guy, but it could also mean to a project manager, change order. Change order. There you go. Confusing. Oh, here's one most people probably know. DAS. 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 Now, to a low voltage guy, DAS means distributed antenna system, right? But to a IT person, that means direct attached storage. That's a device that's a hard drive that's attached to the network. Again, same acronym, two different meanings, right? Oh, that's a good one, Justin. CO, Certificate of Occupancy. That's 3 there. Oh, that's good. I'm writing that one down. Certificate of Occupancy. So that's another good one, right? I appreciate it. Thank you. Thank you. So lots and lots of stuff there can really confuse the heck out of people. Here's one. I use it for tonight's acronym, ESS. ESS. Now, to Bixby people, what that's going to mean is electronic security and safety. It's a credential that you can get, right? But to a phone guy, that's extended service set. Again, see how this can be kind of confusing and why you really don't assume that everybody knows what you're talking about when you're talking about acronyms? Here's another one, FO. FO. That can stand for fiber optic, the TJ. Yeah, that sounds fiber optic to him. But to a project manager, that could be a field order. A field order. You got to think about these things when you see these acronyms pop up. What is the context behind it? So that way it's very easy to get kind of confused. Here's another good one that messes up low voltage people and computer people. FTP. FTP. FTP can stand for foil twisted pair cabling. Hey, Anthony. It can stand for foil twisted pair cabling, which is a shielded cable. Or to a network guy like Ed, that would be file transfer protocol. That's how we used to, before the whole Google Drive, that's how we sent files back and forth to each other if they were too big to email. You had an FTP, you had a client, you log in and you would send the files. IC, another good one, right? It can stand for intermediate cross connect, or it can stand for integrated circuit. Again, Ma Bell guy, they're going to think integrated circuit. They're not going to think about intermediate cross connect. Here's another one for you, IR. IR. To an AV guy, that means infrared, right? Infrared. But to a company that makes cable, that stands for insulation resistance. That's going to be kind of important. Insulation resistance. Yeah, yeah. Hey, make sure you tell me in the chat box, what acronyms do you seem to have problems with? Okay. What acronyms? So Will says FO can also mean first out. First out. Hey, Will, let me know, what does that mean? I consider myself the acronym guy, but I don't know what that means, right? Right. IR can also stand for inside rep. Oh yeah, that's right. Well, typically they're inside sales reps, but I can certainly see somebody calling them an inside rep, though. I agree with you there, Vinny. Absolutely agree with you there. Where did I leave off of? Let me see. I did IR. So now let's go to MAC. M-A-C. MAC. Yeah. That can stand to a low volt guy. That can mean move adds changes. Move add changes. Okay? That means moving cable around, doing adds, doing changes. But it can also mean media access control. Right? That's a computer term. Right? That's how they access equipment. Another one, MC. MC. This one causes problems between us and electricians. If you say MC to an electrician, that means metal clad. That's a type of cable that they pull, metal clad. But it can also stand for us, main cross connect. All right. So say MC to an electrician, instead of getting a main cross connect, you're going to get a cable. Here's one for you. OS. OS. This is going to cause confusion between us and IT people again, right? For example, us, it means optical single mode. Optical single mode. To a computer person, OS means operating system, network operating system, OS, operating system. Yeah. PE is another good one. Another good one. It can mean polyethylene, which is the type of jacket for outside plant cable, polyethylene. Or it can also mean professional engineer. Professional engineer. You say that to a PE, you say it's polyethylene, you're probably going to tick somebody off. You probably are, right? Well, there you go. Here's one. This is the best one I found. This one actually has 4 definitions. 4 definitions. RFI. RFI. Now some people think of it as a request for information. That's what it means to a project manager. Request for information. That's a document you send to the customer when their scope of work sucks and you need more information. Request for information. And you do that use that to make sure that everybody's on the same page, so you're all bidding the exact same thing, right? So request for information. It can also mean radio frequency interference. RFI can mean radio frequency interference. Willie, scope of work. Scope of work. Is there another one for it? Is there another one that means SOW? Let me know. Right? Exactly. Scope of work. Excellent. Good job. Good job. So, but also RFI can also stand for request for interest, request for interpretation. So that's 4 definitions. 4 definitions from one acronym. One acronym. Now let's talk about the ever-changing acronyms. The ever-changing acronyms. Okay. So Willie asked about this earlier. So MDF and IDF. The term MDF has changed 3 times. 3 times. At first it meant main distribution frame. Okay. And then they changed that to ER, equipment room. Technically it's really the main cross connect. The IDF has changed. The IDF independent, look, I got a hat. The IDF stands for independent distribution frame, but they changed that to TC, telecom closet, and then not short after that, about a year after that, they changed it to telecom room. And the reason they changed it from TC to TR is because if you go to an architect who's drawing the floor plans for you and you tell them you need a telecom closet, you're literally going to get a closet. Closet. Yeah. That's why they changed it to telecom room. Thank you, cuz. You are blowing up my hearts there. 1800. Nice. I appreciate that. I appreciate that. And then they changed it to telecom room. Okay. Another one. The TMGB. The telecommunications main grounding bus bar. They changed that one to the primary bonding bus bar. I understand why they changed that one. Because number one, they wanted the emphasis to be on bonding to a ground, because that's what we do most of the time. We typically bond stuff to a ground. So that's why they changed that acronym. TMGB gives you the things you're talking about grounding. We don't ground stuff in low voltage until you start driving a grounded electrode into the ceiling, into the floor. I appreciate that, cuz. Thank you for blowing that up. MDF, yes, just and perfect, yes. It can also be called MER, main equipment room. Main equipment room. Yeah, there you go. Then there's the TBB IBC. I talked about that one earlier. TBB IBC. That stands for the telecommunications bonding backbone interconnecting bonding conductor. The TBB IBC is going to be on every 3rd floor plus the top floor. It connects 2 different closets together, so that will equalize out the potential difference between the 2 telecom rooms, right? Well, they changed it from TBB IBC to GE, grounding equalizer. Grounding equalizer, okay? Now, I like that because you can almost tell what that means. It's somehow equalizing out 2 different grounding sources. But that wasn't good enough. That wasn't good enough. The standard people had to go change it again. So now it's called the BBC. The BBC, the backbone bonding conductor. Do not Google BBC, okay? Do not Google it. I'm forewarning you that now. Yes, yes. And here's an acronym that a lot of people confuse. MUTOA, M-U-T-O-A. I'm too immature for that one, right? Hey, I get it. I understand 100%. MUTOA, M-U-T-O-A. That's one I get asked all the time. And that stands for Multi-User Telecommunications Outlet Assembly. That's a faceplate or a termination box right next to modular furniture where the user can plug in their patch cords and activate phones or computers. Okay, MUTOA. And funny, when people try to trip you up with acronyms, that's usually the one they throw at you. That's usually the one they throw at you. Again, tell me in the chat box, which acronyms are you having? Do you have issues with? Yeah, share and tap. Yeah, absolutely. Share and tap it. Yes, absolutely. Thank you, cuz. I'm doing good. I got 120 people in here right now. I think that's the most I've had since before they shut the thing down the first time. Here's one for you. I think this is the longest acronym I've ever seen. Okay. The acronym is PSELFEXT. PSELFEXT. It has 8 letters in it. 8 letters in it. It's a testing term. It stands for power sum equal level far end crosstalk. Okay, now most people aren't going to deal with that unless they're doing testing, and the tester's going to troubleshoot that for you. So yeah, we have all kinds of acronyms that mean all different kinds of things, and it causes people problems all the time. Again, make sure you download that ICT Terminology Handbook. It's free. Just go to Google, type in ICT Terminology Handbook, and it'll find it for you. SLC slumps a bunch of guys coming into the fire world even after it's explained. SLC. You got me confused, Willie. What does it mean? I don't do fire alarm, so I'm not sure what SLC. Service level contract? Maybe? I don't know. Tell me in the chat box, what does SLC mean? I'm going to Google it right now. Okay. Salt Lake City, Utah? No, I'm sure he's not talking about that. The whole ERTRTE makes me growl. Oh, hey, honeycomb, I got your honeycomb thing. I got it. I need to have a call with you because I want to talk about the correct way to use it, so when I make a video, I don't mess up. So message me so I can share you my phone number. We can have that talk, okay? Signaling line circuit. See the signaling and the think notification. Okay, gotcha. Yeah, there's even acronyms in the fire alarm world. There's acronyms in the telecom world. There's acronyms everywhere, and it confuses the heck out of everybody. It truly does. It truly does. And that's why, just today, I saw a post on, no, it was a video. Somebody made a video on TikTok, and it was a good video, but he said, oh yeah, I'm running cable from the MDF to blah, 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 blah. And I'm like, okay, that's not the right term, but I'm not going to call you out on it because number one, I don't want to make anybody feel like they know less just because they messed up one acronym, right? One acronym. And, but if I get the feeling from talking to you and knowing you that you're the kind of person who likes to learn, I will take the time and explain an acronym to you. I'll even give you the history on most of the acronyms. But if you're one of them people that, I know everything, you can't teach me nothing, you old boomer, fine, call it whatever you want. I don't care. I don't care. I ain't got time to deal with negative people. I got enough negative people in my life. I don't need to add more to it, right? PS, power, pull station, or power supply, right? There you go. MPOE, main point of entry versus DMARC versus entrance facility. So here's another one, MPOE and MPOP, main point of presence, right? There's another one. So that's actually a great one, Justin. So the main point of entry, that's where the cable from the service provider comes into the building. Okay, that's called the main point of entry. Sometimes that's going to be in the MDF, the main distribution frame. Sometimes it's not. Most of the time it will be at the entrance facility. The entrance facility is a room, well, not always a room, but it's always an area where the outside plant cable comes in, the lightning protection is there, the telecom bonded conductor is there, right? And also the primary bonding bus bar. And then that brings the dial tone or the fiber optic cable in, and then they may run a cable from that to the data center. We now call it the equipment room. Some people used to call it the PBX room, private branch exchange. There's another acronym for you, right? So yeah, a lot of people will really confuse the heck out of things sometimes. They truly will. Some data centers call it the ME room. You might meet the ISP and the data center, right? And again, I've heard people call main equipment room, main communication telecom closet. That actually brings up a great point, Justin, because a lot of times you will have differences, regional differences, right? We might call it something in Florida, but you might call it something. I didn't realize how pervasive this was until I started traveling the country teaching classes, because I would talk to people and I'd say an acronym and they go, oh no, that's this. And I'm like, oh, okay, well that makes sense, but it's not the acronym that we use. So there's also regional differences on top of everything else. On top of everything else, it's kind of funny that we have those kinds of things, right? Hey, tell me in the chat box, what acronym stumps you the most? Go ahead and tell me in the chat box. Let me flip over to the other chat, see if anybody said anything. Nobody said anything over there, right? Justin, I just launched a training program. Would love to pick your brain sometime. Justin, just direct message me, and I will coordinate for us to have a call and talk. And absolutely. If you're training people, I'll give you any kind of help I can within the limits of my tight time frame as it is now, because I got a day job, I got the podcast, I got a farm, and my wife and I like to go to travel. So lots of stuff goes on, right? I live in the belly of the acronym. Oh, yes, you do, Daryl, the RCDD. The military is worse on acronyms than we are, right? So there you go. You did my limited training a few years ago. That's my day job. So that's how I've met 24,000 people teaching that class. 24,000 people. That's a lot of people. Right? So again, tell me in the chat box. I'll give you another few minutes. Technically, we're past the 30-minute mark. I'll give you guys a few more minutes. Tell me, what acronym are you having problems with? Okay? What acronyms are you having problems with? Because you know what, I still, from time to time, and here's the thing, if someone uses an acronym and you don't know what it is, don't be afraid to ask. The only stupid question is the question left unasked. So if you don't know what an acronym is, don't be afraid to tell people what that is, right? My students struggle with WRBYV. WRBYV. I would struggle with that. I don't know what that one is. WRBYV. Oh, white, red, black, yellow, violet. There you go. So yeah, we have mnemonic sayings to help people remember those, right? There's some acceptable ones and some unacceptable ones, right? So I've heard the Washington Redskins bring you victory, while running you vomit. Winchester rifles bring you venison, right? There's lots of them out there. If you can bring up that one, you got to bring up the blue, orange, green, brown slate, the secondary colors, right? Bell operators give bad service. Browns over Green Bay on Sunday, right? Big old gorilla breath stinks. Keith says network engineering also has a lot of acronyms. Oh, yes, it does. I wonder if can I put that on the screen? It's not letting me put it on the screen for some reason. I am not sure why, but it's not letting me put it on the screen. Okay, there we go. All righty, we're at 6:33. I typically try to do 30 minutes. Have you studied the R56 manual? Tons of acronyms in there. I'm curious if the TDM uses the same terms. I have not studied the R56 manual. I don't even know what the R56 manual is. Look, even though I may know a lot of things, I don't know everything. So Greg, let me know, what is the R56 manual? Is it free? Does it have to do with communications? And where can I get it? Because I'll look at it, and I'm telling you, the TDM also uses a lot of acronyms, but the TDM, here's the funny thing. The acronym section in the TDM doesn't have all of the acronyms that they use in the TDM. I have found acronyms in the TDM that's not listed in the acronym section. That's why I always tell people, download the ICT Terminology Handbook, because that's a book from Bixby. It's free, and I don't think it has all of them, because CO only had those two definitions listed. And somebody said certificate of occupancy. That is another one it can be used for, right? But I don't know. It has a lot of them. I don't know if it has all of them though. So there you go. All righty, let's go ahead and shut down the live so I can go outside, take care of the Motorola version of the TMM for communication sites. Oh, gotcha. I'm going to go ahead and shut down the live stream because it's 6:35, and I appreciate everybody coming here today. And until next time, remember, knowledge is power. Take care, Anthony.